spectators necessarily out early because of the name value there, but, you know, they're getting a chance to rub shoulders with other athletes and maybe some that they want to, you know, aspire to be and be back for a higher section or two come the next year round. There is BALÁZS of Oregon. Looks like he's going to come now into this third section. So he got moved up, which can happen if there are scratches in some of these higher sections as well. But section 3, and talking about names you need to keep an eye on, Sam Ruth is one of them, the 16-year-old New Zealander. There you see him front and center, back on a West Coast tour that took him all the way up to the pre-classic as well. Almost got himself under the 4-minute barrier. The national under-18 record holder and the New Zealand national champion this year. And right next to him, hip 8, Rory LINKLETTER, the Canadian. Know him better as a prolific road racer now, but getting himself mixed up in a 1,500 meters here.
Well, and Paul, Rory LINKLETTER was 6th in the Boston Marathon. He's a Canadian. And then he ran 2:08:31 for second in the Ottawa Marathon on May 25th. So just over a month later, the young man ran a 2:07:02 and a 2:08:31. But he's also got wheels. I mean, he's run a 3:59 flat mile, which he did last year. 13:29 for 5,000. One thing, too, about these times that we were talking about, Benjámin BALÁZS, he runs a 8:24:46 in the steeple, and you think, oh, my God, he had to finish top 4 or 5 in NC2A. He finishes 7th. I mean, that's how ridiculous it is these days. And it'll be very interesting to see how he performs. And look out, if it's a somewhat slow pace, Garrett MACQUIDDY has a kick like you would not believe and could be a real factor here. He's another grinder, a guy that was at Cal years and years and finally came to the fore this year, a runner-up in that ACC 1500 to Strand. And, you know, this is a guy, again, that's been at it, and is finally succeeding. You're looking at Chris Caudillo, too, of Cal Poly. And Ryan Van Hoy has done an excellent job there in San Luis Obispo. Caudillo, sophomore, was second in the Big West Cross Country Championships at 8K this year. And he's a 3:37.76 guy, second in the Big West 5K and third in the 1500. So he is a very good guy. And as you were talking about, Paul, now it's a different level of competitor. And this could be a very, very good race for him to kind of test himself.
And a reminder for that 16-year-old from New Zealand, Sam Ruth, 3:40.12 is his personal best. That is the New Zealand under-18 national record. The pace lights for this race, Tom, at 3:36.5, so set up to challenge the youngster and, you know, reminiscent of when we saw Jakob Ingebrigtsen racing as a teenager over here in the United States. He's getting a great experience, kind of rubbing shoulders. He was running in some top flight high school events earlier in the spring in California as well. And now toe line with some real top talent here in Section 3 of the men's 1500 at the Sunset Tour in Los Angeles.
All you need to know about Ruth is he beat Sam Tanner in the New Zealand 1500 with a kick down the home straightaway. To have the moxie to even think you can run down a guy like Sam Tanner, that shows you this kid fears nothing, which reminds me a little bit of an Ingebrigtsen.
And for the moment, he's back there at about 5th position as Bennett BOOTH-GENTHE is the pace setter. And leading this group down the front straightaway, Ben Allen of the Empire Elite Track Club, semifinalist at 800 meters last year at the Olympic trials, currently in second.
And Caudillo and Ruth running together there, as you can see, in about 5th or 6th there. By the way, Parker Stokes, Paul, I'm sorry. I just wanted to shout out Parker Stokes because he is the NC2A steeplechase champion from 2024, the ex-Georgetown guy, 6th fastest collegian ever. We didn't mention him. He's another good guy to watch here.
You're allowed to do shout-outs. It's perfectly reasonable in this race call.
Thank you.
Booth-Genthe, our pace setter, and getting everybody to the rail, so that pace is pretty good and away just a shade from the lights. Again, which is 3:36.5. The 16-year-old right on those lights back there in 5th position as they'll come now through with 2 laps to run. Ben Allen right behind the pace setter in the headband with Nick Foster in tow. And now the pace setter going to go out wide here, Tom, as they'll get to 1,200 meters.
Yeah, Ben Allen looks quite good there in second, as does Nick Foster, who's a 3:37.97 guy. You know, Nick Foster was at Michigan, graduated last year, but second in the Big Ten 1500 in 21 and in 24. Very legit guy. Again, but look at how smooth Ben Allen looks, just taking control of this race with Foster right there, Caudillo and Ruth.
That was, of course, 800 meters, not 1,200 meters. Getting away from myself just a little bit, but we now close in on the last lap and a half of this race. And the step off here, as it looks like Nick Foster did not like something and goes down. We hope he's okay. That's not something you want to see in this type of racing with 2 weeks to go. And look at Ruth, the teenager, the 16-year-old now moves into second with a lap to go.
And Caudillo going right along with him. Ben Allen still looks very good at the front. Foster did not. I mean, that was a very unfortunate situation for Foster. The Oregon Ducks now are 4 and 5 with DORENKAMP and Benny BALÁZS. But Ben Allen still looks pretty comfortable. But this kid Ruth is a stud, and Caudillo hanging right with those two.
So Allen trying to hold off the 16-year-old. A half lap to go, and Ruth looks very good right now, as does Caudillo. And Caudillo's now going to come up and run alongside Ruth with BALÁZS as they come into the home stretch. That was actually Evan Dorenkamp of Oregon along with BALÁZS as they move to the outside. But here is Ben Allen. He's going to take the victory in 3:38. Now we just wait for the time to see if Ruth got under 3:40. Caudillo in 3:39.09, and Sam Ruth does it again. Another New Zealand under 18 record as he goes under 3:40 for the first time, 3:39.17, finishing in 5th.
A lot to unpack in that race, Paul. I thought Ben Allen looked really good, and there was more there for sure. But how about the finish for Evan Dorenkamp and Benny BALÁZS, both setting lifetime bests? And if Coach Jerry Schumacher is watching, he must be quite pleased. You know, BALÁZS only a sophomore, and Caudillo ran a very nice race as well. And as you pointed out, Ruth, the fastest closer was Benny BALÁZS. And you can see that this was an outstanding race. Ben Allen there kind of taking things with 1 lap to go. Ruth tried to cover that move. Caudillo trying to move with Ruth. And then look at Ben Allen down the straight. There is a lot more there for that young man. And he looked very, very impressive. And again, a testament to sticking with it, sticking with it, sticking with it. You've got to love that.
And just to put it in perspective for our American audiences, that time by the 16-year-old Sam Ruth would be good for number 8 all-time U.S. high school, right behind the 3:39 flat hand time run by Jim Ryan back in 1964. Just amazing, amazing talent, Sam Ruth of New Zealand, in breaking his own under 18 record. But we move on the quick and very efficient schedule on the docket here at the 2025 Sound Running Sunset Tours. We move on to Section 3 in the women's 1,500